Imagine waking up after being clinically dead for hours, or regaining your sight after years of blindness. Sounds impossible, right? But these are real cases, medical miracles that defy science, leaving even the smartest doctors in shock. In today's video, we unravel 5 of the most unbelievable recoveries ever recorded. But here's the catch. Some of these cases remain unexplained to this day. So stay with me until the end, because the last one might just change the way you see life itself. Oh, and if you think science has all the answers, well, let's just say even Einstein would have scratched his head at these cases. Our first story takes us back to March 2014. Picture this. A man named Tony Yall collapses, his heart stopping abruptly. Now, I've seen my fair share of emergencies, but a cardiac arrest, every second counts. The medical team rushed into action, performing CPR, using a defibrillator, pushing emergency medications, the works. But Tony's heart remained silent. For 45 agonizing minutes, there was no heartbeat, no pulse, no sign of life. Imagine the scene, the frantic efforts of the doctors and nurses, the beeping of machines, the growing despair in the room. It's a stark reminder of how fragile life is, how quickly things can change. After nearly an hour, with all medical options exhausted, Tony was pronounced dead. His family was brought in to say their final goodbyes. Can you imagine the emotional roller coaster they were going through, the shock, the disbelief, the crushing weight of grief? Just as they were about to give up hope, something incredible happened. Tony gasped. His heart, silent for what seemed like an eternity, started beating again, on its own. No medical explanation, no known reason. To this day, doctors call it a divine restart. And honestly, who can blame them? Think about it. 45 minutes with no oxygen to the brain. Medically speaking, that kind of deprivation should have resulted in severe, irreversible brain damage. In most cases, it leads to death. But Tony? He came back. He went on to make a full recovery, defying all odds and leaving medical experts baffled. It's a powerful reminder that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles, the human body can possess an incredible will to live. Let's be honest, nobody wants to end up in a morgue. It's the stuff of nightmares, right? But for 61-year-old Lyudmila Stablitskaya, this nightmare became a reality, albeit with a bizarre twist. After suffering a massive heart attack, Lyudmila was rushed to the hospital. Despite the medical team's best efforts, she showed no signs of life. Her heart wasn't beating, she wasn't breathing, and after repeated attempts to revive her, she was declared dead. Her body was prepared for the morgue, cleaned, wrapped in a sheet and placed in a cold metal drawer. Imagine the eerie silence of that room, the stillness of the air, the chilling realization that life had left her body. Hours passed. The morgue, typically a place of quiet repose, was disturbed by an unexpected sound. A muffled thumping, coming from one of the drawers. An attendant, initially dismissing it as his imagination, cautiously approached the source of the noise. He unzipped the bag, expecting to find, well, nothing out of the ordinary. What he found instead sent chills down his spine. Lyudmila, the woman who was pronounced dead hours earlier, was very much alive. She was disoriented, confused, and understandably surprised to find herself in a body bag. Imagine waking up in a morgue. It's enough to give anyone a heart attack. Oh wait, she already had one. News of Lyudmila's miraculous resurrection spread like wildfire. She even attended her own funeral, much to the astonishment of her grieving family and friends. Can you imagine the look on their faces? Talk about awkward family reunions. Medical experts were baffled. How could someone declared dead, prepped for burial, and left in a morgue for hours just wake up? The prevailing theory is that Lyudmila experienced a rare phenomenon known as suspended animation. It's a state where the body's metabolic processes slow down drastically, mimicking the signs of death. But even if that's the case, it still doesn't fully explain how she regained consciousness after such a prolonged period. It's a medical mystery that continues to puzzle experts to this day. Chapter 3. This next story is about the incredible resilience of the human body, especially when it comes to children. 11-year-old Zach Dunlap was involved in a horrific accident that left him with severe head trauma. Imagine the scene, the chaos, the blood, the sheer force of the impact. It was the kind of accident that no parent wants to imagine, let alone witness. Rushed to the hospital, Zach was in critical condition. The impact had shattered his skull, causing massive brain damage. His condition was so dire that doctors prepared his family for the worst. They told him that even if he survived, he would likely be in a vegetative state. Imagine being Zach's parents, hearing those words. The world as they knew it would have come crashing down. The hope, the dreams they had for their son, all seemingly gone in an instant. As a last resort, doctors decided to run some tests. They needed to confirm their grim prognosis. But then, something extraordinary happened. While being prepped for a scan, Zach squeezed his uncle's hand. It was a small gesture, a flicker of life in a body that was supposed to be beyond saving. The medical team was stunned. Could it be? Could Zach be defying the odds? A follow-up scan revealed the unbelievable. Zach's brain was healing. Slowly but surely, it was repairing itself. And if that wasn't miraculous enough, his shattered skull began to reconstruct itself. Over the next few months, Zach underwent numerous surgeries and therapies. His recovery was nothing short of a medical marvel. He regained his ability to speak, to walk, to live a normal life. Today, Zach is a living testament to the power of hope, the strength of the human spirit, and the remarkable ability of the body to heal itself, even when all hope seems lost. Chapter 4. Our senses are precious. They connect us to the world around us, allowing us to experience life in all its vibrancy. But imagine losing one of those senses, like sight, for an extended period. That was the reality for Kevin Coughlin, who lost his vision after a freak accident. For 2 long decades he navigated a world shrouded in darkness, relying on his other senses to get by. Imagine the frustration, the isolation, the feeling of being trapped in a world without light. Daily tasks that most people take for granted, like reading a book or seeing the faces of loved ones, were impossible for Kevin. Then, one morning, something extraordinary happened. Kevin woke up, and for the first time in 20 years, he could see. There was no surgery, no experimental treatment, no logical explanation. It was as if someone had flipped a switch, restoring his sight, as if those 2 decades of darkness had never happened. He could see the sunlight streaming through his window, the intricate details of his room, the faces of his loved ones. It was a miracle, plain and simple. Doctors were baffled. They ran test after test, trying to understand how this could be possible. But the scans showed no change in his eyes. There was no medical reason why he should be able to see again. The human brain is an incredibly complex organ, capable of remarkable feats. Neuroscientists believe that Kevin's brain, deprived of visual input for so long, rewired itself, forging new neural pathways to compensate for the lack of sight. It's a testament to the brain's remarkable plasticity, its ability to adapt and change even in the face of adversity. Kevin's story is a beacon of hope for those battling seemingly insurmountable challenges, a reminder that sometimes miracles do happen. Chapter 5. This final story takes us to the icy landscapes of Canada, where a newborn baby girl defied the odds in a way that even seasoned medical professionals still struggle to comprehend. Imagine this. A mother gives birth to her baby girl during a harsh winter storm due to unforeseen circumstances. The baby is accidentally abandoned, left exposed to the unforgiving elements. The freezing temperatures, the biting wind, the isolation, it's a recipe for disaster. When the baby is finally found 12 hours later, her tiny body is cold, lifeless. She's rushed to the hospital, but the outlook is bleak. Medically speaking, there's not much hope. The prolonged exposure to extreme cold should have been fatal. The heartbroken parents are allowed to hold their baby one last time to say their goodbyes. As the mother cradles her child, whispering words of love and grief, something miraculous happens. She feels it, a faint heartbeat. At first, she thinks it's her imagination, but the doctors confirm it. The baby, against all odds, is alive. She's immediately placed in an incubator, her tiny body slowly warming up. Doctors monitor her closely, expecting the worst. But as the hours turn into days, the baby continues to improve. She suffers no brain damage, no lasting complications from her ordeal. It's as if those 12 hours in the freezing cold never happened. Medical experts believe that the extreme cold triggered a rare survival mechanism in the baby, sending her body into a state of suspended animation. This slowed down her metabolic rate, protecting her vital organs from damage. But even then, 12 hours is an incredibly long time to survive in such extreme conditions. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the sheer will to live, especially in the most vulnerable among us. 5 cases, 5 lives defying science. So here's the question. Are these just extreme examples of medical luck? Or are there forces beyond science at play? Whatever you believe, one thing is certain. The human body is capable of more than we can imagine. And who knows, maybe the next miracle will be you. So don't forget to drink water, eat well, and maybe, just maybe, keep an eye out for your own miracle moment. If you found this fascinating, wait till you see the power of compounding, not just in money, but in your health and life. Click here to watch my next video on how small changes can create massive results over time. See you there.